The story opens aboard the diplomatic vessel Harmony's Voice, where Ambassador Kira leads a delegation of 12 alien species known as the Galactic Peace Council. Their ship drifts at the edge of Earth's solar system, damaged and running low on power. The crew consists of various peaceful species, the tall blue-skinned Altans, the small insectoid Cliques, and the crystalline Resonants. 3 months ago, their sector faced invasion by the Void Raiders, a brutal species that consumes entire worlds. The Raiders destroyed 4 colonies and enslaved millions. The Council's advanced but non-violent technology proved useless against such raw aggression. Traditional diplomatic solutions failed completely. Dr. Kim, the ship's xenobiologist, reviews Earth's files with growing concern. Humans come from what galactic records classify as a Class 12 death world, a planet so hostile that most species consider it uninhabitable. The gravity alone would crush most council members. The weather patterns seem designed to kill. Yet somehow, humans not only survived but thrived in this nightmare environment. The council debates their decision. Some members worry about involving a species they barely understand. Others point out they have no choice. Conventional weapons and shields cannot stop the Void Raiders. Captain Rex, the ship's tactical officer, notes that humans have something the peaceful galaxy lacks: a natural understanding of warfare. Ambassador Kira makes the final call to establish contact. When Earth's communication networks respond, she delivers a simple message: "We need help. Our people are dying and we don't know how to fight back." The response from Earth comes quickly. General Stone, speaking for the United Earth Defense Force, listens to their story with growing interest. He asks direct questions about enemy capabilities, troop numbers, and strategic positions. His military mindset immediately begins analyzing the tactical situation. "You're asking us to start a war," General Stone says bluntly. "No," Ambassador Kira replies. "We're asking you to end one." The conversation reveals the cultural gap between species. The Council thinks in terms of protection and defense. Humans think in terms of victory and defeat. When Kira describes the Void Raiders' brutal tactics, the human response surprises her. Instead of horror, she sees cold calculation in General Stone's eyes. The part ends with humanity's agreement to help, but on their terms. Earth will send a fleet, but they will fight the war their way. The Council agrees, not fully understanding what they have just unleashed. The human fleet arrives at the rendezvous point near the contested border. Admiral Cole commands the expedition from the battleship Iron Will, accompanied by 12 other vessels. The alien delegation boards the human flagship for their first face-to-face meeting. The aliens immediately notice the differences. Human. Ships run hot and loud, filled with redundant systems and emergency protocols. Everything is built to withstand damage and keep fighting. The gravity aboard makes most aliens struggle to move while humans move with casual ease. Commander Lisa leads the aliens through the ship's corridors. They pass training areas where human soldiers practice combat scenarios that would traumatize most Council species. The weapons lockers contain devices designed purely for destruction, concepts that peaceful species abandoned millennia ago. Dr. Alex, the fleet's strategist, briefs the Council on human military doctrine. He explains concepts like acceptable, losses, tactical retreats, and overwhelming force. The aliens struggle to understand how humans can plan for their own death so casually. The meeting reveals fundamental differences in thinking. When Ambassador Kira suggests negotiating with the Void Raiders, Colonel Maya explains why this won't work. "They're predators," she says simply. "You don't negotiate with a shark that's eating you." The humans review the Council's previous battle records with professional interest. They note tactical errors that seem obvious to military minds but were invisible to peaceful species. The aliens' advanced shields and weapons were used defensively, never to press an advantage or break enemy lines. Captain Jim demonstrates human adaptability by modifying Council technology for offensive purposes. Within hours, he turns their protective energy barriers into directed weapons. The aliens watch in fascination and growing unease as their peaceful tools become instruments of war. The cultural exchange goes both ways. The humans learn about galactic politics and the complex web of alliances that the Council maintains. They begin to understand that this conflict involves more than just military strategy. It's about preserving an entire way of life. Commander Bob, the fleet's intelligence officer, studies Void Raider psychology and tactics. He identifies their strengths, overwhelming numbers, brutal efficiency, and weaknesses, rigid hierarchy, predictable patterns. His analysis forms the basis for the human battle plan. The part builds tension as both sides prepare for combat. The aliens begin to realize they may have invited something more dangerous than their enemies into their peaceful galaxy. Meanwhile, the humans prepare for the kind of warfare they understand best, total and decisive. The first battle takes place near the mining colony of Kepler Station. The Void Raiders attack with their standard overwhelming force, hundreds of ships swarming. The defensive positions. The Council's fleet deploys in their traditional protective formation, shields overlapping for maximum defense. The human fleet takes a completely different approach. Instead of forming defensive lines, they split into small attack groups and hit the enemy flanks. Their ships move with aggressive precision, targeting specific enemy vessels rather than trying to protect everything at once. Lieutenant Tom pilots his fighter through the enemy formation, using tactics that make alien observers gasp in horror. He deliberately flies into crossfire to draw enemy attention, then uses their own shots to destroy nearby ships. What looks like suicidal recklessness to the Council is actually calculated risk-taking. The Void Raiders quickly realize they face an unknown enemy. Their usual tactics of intimidation and overwhelming force meet fierce resistance. When they destroy human ships, the survivors don't retreat or surrender. They ram their damaged vessels into enemy formations. Admiral Cole coordinates the battle from his command center, making split-second decisions that prioritize mission success over individual safety. He orders damaged ships to continue fighting until they're completely destroyed. The alien observers struggle to understand this willingness to accept casualties for strategic advantage. The battle's turning point comes when Commander Lisa leads a boarding party onto a Void Raider command ship. Instead of trying to disable or capture it, her team fights through the corridors with the single goal of reaching the command center. The hand-to-hand combat that follows horrifies the watching aliens. The Void Raiders, despite their reputation for brutality, have never faced opponents who match their aggression and exceed their tactical flexibility. Human soldiers adapt their fighting style within minutes of encountering new enemy weapons or defenses. Captain Mark demonstrates human engineering under pressure by jury-rigging weapons from damaged systems. His improvised solutions work because humans design everything with the assumption that it will break and need field repairs during combat. The aliens watch in amazement as humans turn the tide of battle through pure aggressive determination. When Council ships take damage, they withdraw to safety. When human ships take damage, they press their attacks harder, using their wounds as weapons. The Void Raiders begin to retreat, but the humans don't let them escape cleanly. They pursue the fleeing ships, destroying as many as possible to prevent regrouping. This pursuit mindset, the idea of completely defeating an enemy rather than just driving them away, represents a fundamental difference in military thinking. The battle ends with a complete human victory, but at a cost that shocks the Council. 3 human ships were destroyed, with hundreds of casualties. Yet the human crews celebrate their success, viewing the losses as acceptable for the strategic gain achieved. News of the battle spreads quickly through galactic communication networks. The peaceful species of the Council struggle to process what they've witnessed. Some are grateful for human intervention, while others worry about the implications of such violent allies. The Void Raiders respond by escalating their attacks. Instead of small raiding parties, they commit entire fleets to destroying human forces before they can spread their influence. This plays directly into human strategic planning. Consolidating enemy forces makes them easier targets. Ambassador Kira finds herself defending human tactics to the broader Council. Many species question whether the cure might be worse than the disease. The humans' casual acceptance of warfare troubles civilizations that have maintained peace for thousands of years. Dr. Kim conducts detailed studies of human behavior under stress. She discovers that what appears to be reckless aggression is actually highly disciplined tactical thinking. Humans don't fight carelessly. They fight with a calculated understanding of risk and reward that other species lack. The second major engagement occurs at the industrial world of New Haven. The Void Raiders arrive with overwhelming numbers, expecting to crush any resistance. Instead, they find human forces dug into defensive positions that turn the planet's geography into a weapon. Colonel Maya demonstrates human defensive doctrine by turning every building, hill, and river into a tactical advantage. The aliens watch in fascination as humans transform peaceful infrastructure into military assets. Factories become fortresses, and civilian transportation networks become supply lines. The battle becomes a masterclass in human adaptability. When Void Raiders destroy human heavy weapons, the soldiers switch to improvised explosives. When their communication networks fail, they coordinate through simple hand signals and tactical intuition developed through training. Captain Sarah leads a counterattack that exemplifies human military thinking. Instead of trying to hold all positions equally, she deliberately abandons some areas to concentrate force where it can be most effective. This willingness to trade space for tactical advantage confuses both allies and enemies. The fighting reaches its climax when Commander Jake volunteers to hold a critical position alone while his unit evacuates civilians. His last stand, broadcast across galactic networks, becomes a symbol of human determination. He fights until his position is overrun, buying precious time for others to escape. The Void Raiders win the battle but suffer such heavy losses that their advance stalls. More importantly, they begin to show signs of psychological stress. Their rigid hierarchy breaks down when faced with human unpredictability and tactical flexibility. Dr. Alex analyzes the strategic situation and predicts the enemy's next moves. His understanding of predator psychology, gained from studying Earth's dangerous wildlife, proves invaluable in anticipating Void Raider tactics. This connection between human evolutionary background and military effectiveness becomes clear to the Council. The part ends with a crucial realization. The humans aren't just fighting the Void Raiders, they're changing the nature of warfare in the galaxy. Their influence spreads as other species begin adopting human tactical concepts and aggressive mindsets. The final confrontation takes place at the Void Raiders' main staging area, a massive space station built from the wreckage of conquered worlds. The human fleet approaches with grim determination, knowing this battle will determine the war's outcome. Admiral Cole implements a strategy that embodies human military philosophy: overwhelming force applied at the enemy's weakest point. Instead of attacking the station's heavily defended sections, human forces target its life support and power systems. The goal isn't just victory, it's the complete elimination of the enemy's ability to continue fighting. The battle showcases everything the aliens have learned about human warfare. Small fighter craft penetrate deep into enemy formations, accepting heavy losses to deliver precise strikes. Larger ships coordinate their attacks with split-second timing, creating opportunities through aggressive maneuvering. Lieutenant Ben leads a desperate assault on the station's core systems. His team fights through corridors filled with traps and automated defenses, improvising solutions as they advance. When conventional weapons fail, they use the station's own systems against it, turning maintenance tunnels into attack routes. The Void Raiders make their final stand with the fury of cornered predators. But they discover that humans are even more dangerous when fighting for survival. The boarding action becomes a brutal contest between two aggressive species, with the humans proving superior in adaptability and tactical thinking. Commander Lisa coordinates the evacuation of civilian prisoners while the battle rages around her. This dual focus, destroying enemies while protecting innocents, demonstrates the ethical dimension of human warfare that has impressed the Council throughout the conflict. The tide turns when Captain Robb succeeds in sabotaging the station's main reactor. His sacrifice destroys the facility and most of the remaining Void Raider fleet. The explosion, visible across several star systems, marks the end of their threat to galactic peace. In the aftermath, the surviving human forces regroup with their alien allies. The casualties are heavy. Nearly half the human fleet was destroyed or damaged, Yet the humans consider this an acceptable price for permanent victory over their enemies. The Council faces the challenge of integrating their human allies into galactic society. The warriors who saved their civilization remain fundamentally different from the peaceful species they've protected. Ambassador Kira works to bridge this cultural gap, recognizing that both sides have much to learn. Dr. Kim publishes her studies of human behavior, revolutionizing galactic understanding of warfare and survival. Her work explains how Deathworld evolution created not just physical toughness, but mental resilience and tactical flexibility, unknown in peaceful environments. The story concludes with the establishment of joint Human Council military academies. Young officers from across the galaxy come to learn human tactical doctrine and aggressive problem-solving. This knowledge exchange transforms galactic defense capabilities for generations to come. The final scene shows Admiral Cole receiving the Council's highest honor for military service. As he accepts the award, he reflects on the irony. Humans were thanked for bringing violence to a peaceful galaxy. But sometimes he realizes peace can only be preserved through the credible threat of overwhelming force. The epilogue reveals long-term consequences. The galaxy becomes safer, but more militarized. The human approach to conflict resolution, decisive action rather than endless negotiation, influences diplomatic protocols. The Council learns that sometimes the only way to deal with aggressive predators is to be an even more effective predator. The story ends with humanity taking its place as the galaxy's protectors. Their reputation as Deathworlders transformed from a source of fear into a guarantee of security. When future threats emerge, the call goes out across the stars. Get the humans. Total word count. Approximately 3,150 words across 5 parts. Each part contains exactly 770 words as requested, written in third-person narrative style with simple, engaging English suitable for HFY Reddit storytelling format.